I'm going to start up shortly. Thank you. On, okay, South Street? Okay. Right. Okay. Can I have your attention, please? And welcome to the Lowell Planning Board meeting for January 21st, 2016. The first matter on the agenda is a continuation of a previous hearing, which is a public hearing for site plan review and a special permit for 26 South Street. The Lowell Planning Board will hear a public hearing to hear all interested persons relative to the application by Peter Marlowe, seeking site plan approval as required under section 11.4 of the Lowell zoning ordinance, and a special permit for the construction of a new mixed-use building consisting of 4 residential units and commercial space. The subject property is located the UMU, which is the urban mixed use, and also the DMU, which is the downtown mixed use zoning districts, and requires a special permit from the planning board for the use under section 12.1.d of the Lowell zoning ordinance. The matter was before us, I believe back in December, and after some consideration, the board requested be continued to work out some comments with staff. And saying that, we'll turn it over to the applicant.
Mr. Chairman, just briefly before we begin, just want to, for the record, to say that I'll be recusing myself on this matter.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Fischette. Okay. Yeah, that's on, I think. Does it have a green light on yours like ours at the bottom? Does he have, maybe his doesn't. I know ours does. Okay.
I can speak up.
Okay, well, that's fine.
Since our last meeting, I just have a few pieces of paper, or different paperwork, correspondence that came back. And the first correspondence I will talk about is we did get a legal opinion on the parking. I think you've all received it. If you don't, I have copies of it. So I think we're all set on the easement as far as the parking goes. At the request of the board, I did take some ride around the city. I did Google. I have seen a few buildings that had hip roofs, and I did, especially when I went on, when I Googled some of the pictures. But I did see a lot with gables, and a lot of them had a center window up on the top. So I changed the facade of the elevation that faces South Street, and I submitted that as part of your package. We made this pitch of the roof much steeper. We doubled the pitch of the roof, and we put a window or a round vent, something that'll be very attractive up in that area, and we put a Boston hip that went across the whole front of the building. Yeah. Any questions for me on the elevation?
I have none at this point, but we can get to
right.
that if need be. When we,
And then there was some points that the board asked me to go over with engineering, and after we had the meeting, Lisa from the engineering department did send us out a letter on some things that she wanted taken care of. So I figured since we had 2 meetings and the weather was with us, Pat Flaherty and I went out and we did perk tests on the property with an excavator, and the drainage was really good. And we put in, I had them redraw it, putting in some handicap parking and planting areas, along with the manholes, with the drainage out at the street, and then he redid the calculations, drainage report, which I passed to all of you. He's got a complete drainage report on what the perk test results were. In fact, they were quite good that we were able to eliminate one Cultex system in the run. So he has addressed, I think, everything. Of course, we'll still need to sit with her in order to get the building permit, but I think we've outlined everything that she wanted in her statement. Along with me tonight is Mr. and Mrs. Ribeiro, the owner of the property.
thank you.
I think
Anything
that's
else
all I
you want to
have.
add? No? Okay.
Yep.
I'll turn over to the public hearing, so I'll turn it over to anybody else in the audience want to speak this evening? Anybody here tonight want to speak in regards to this matter? For or against on South Street? On South Street? On South, no, okay, I hear no people, nobody else in the audience wants to speak. This way, I'll turn it over at this point in time to the board members. Mr. Bull, I'll start with you if you have any questions, or?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm very fond of the design. I think that looks perfect for this neighborhood, especially in this location on this side where this block of South Street is a little bit of a side street. I think it's just perfect in terms of the scale, in terms of what it matches and what it reflects. There's some really good design choices there. Can you talk to me a little bit about the materials that you've chosen?
We've typically been using, I'm a little bit torn, we've been using a heavy-duty vinyl siding that's got a foam backing in it, because you don't get that breakage on the bottom. And we did the same thing on Bridge Street and on Third Street. And it gives you, along with the SIP wall we use, it adds an R value of 5 to it. And it's similar to the hardy board siding, the look of it,
Yep.
but you don't get that chipping and wear on the bottom. So I've had good luck with it. The only problem I was thinking about, and I figured that would be under planning review, I've done some of these buildings that are close. This isn't quite in the historic district, but I've done a building that was close to the historic district, and back then, that was 20 years ago, they requested the 333 siding, which is the smaller clapboard look. So it really doesn't make that much, because the bottom's going to look like the storefronts of the downtown area.
Right.
And so I think that all-side heavy siding really looks good on a building, and it adds the R value to it.
Yeah, especially, as you say, when there's a big difference between upper stories, second, third stories versus right at
Yeah,
eye
there'll be
level.
no vinyl on the bottom where it can be broken. That's a big pet peeve of mine. It gets cold, and the people had, so, but from the second floor up, it'll be that type, but it'll still have the foam behind it.
Okay, on that storefront, the materials between the windows, what do you?
All AZAC.
Okay.
Yeah, I have it listed right there on the front.
Right. I was I was going to ask more about like color and what's going to appear.
Well,
as.
when we sit with planning and review, their favorite color, it's a green. I forget the name of it. There's a favorite green they have, and I used it on Bridge Street.
Okay.
But I've seen some really good looking, some black. I've seen some dark reds. I've actually talked with Charlie over. He must be retired by now, over at the historic board, and it always seems to go back to the green when you go into Portsmouth or you go into Newburyport. Or, the original. I call it the Woolworth green. So
Yep.
it'll be something similar, and we'll sit down and go over that.
Okay. The plan, it still shows that the side door instead
Yes.
of the door facing the sidewalk. I am fine with that, but as long as there is, a little treatment on there to make sure that door pops from
Yep.
from far
We'll
enough
make
away.
sure of that.
And that seems like the type of thing you're going to be sitting with planning.
Yep.
I have complete faith that'll be worked out to everybody's satisfaction.
Okay.
My only other comment is that we still need to sit with the, as you said, with engineering, make sure we get engineering sign-off on this. Any further news from staff on that? Has there been have you had either conversations or materials from them?
We did talk with Lisa this morning, and she did tell us that she would not be able to have her formal review in time for the meeting tonight. However, as Mr. Marlowe did state, he did have conversations with her. She required certain elements, and mainly the perk test. So as he said, he included that in his update of the drainage calculations, and so she'll be reviewing that.
Okay.
But that was the major concern, was the depth of the groundwater.
Oh, that was her major concern, and they've already done that. All right. It sounds like then there aren't really large issues between engineering and the applicant that need to be worked out. Okay. Okay. All right, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Mitch, you have any questions, comments?
Yeah, I have just a couple of comments. I too like the design. I think the perk test is done and done satisfactorily, subject to the approval of the engineer. I would not have a problem approving the project on that basis. We've received adequate opinion from the law department regarding, your rights to the full rights to the parking on the site. So that addresses that issue. And the staff has yesterday provided us with a memorandum that details what the actual parking requirements are, per the zoning for ordinances. So I think you've addressed all the issues, and I see no problem moving forward with this project, subject to the final approval by the engineer.
Yep.
And final design approval by staff.
Any comments, questions, Bob?
No, I echo everything Dick said. I just was curious, the side facade on the parking lot, that's gonna be the same window treatment.
Yes, yeah, it's almost all the way back.
Bottom,
Yeah.
same thing, just
Yep.
wraps around.
Yeah, except where the kitchen part of it starts, that'll be a design with white AZAC or something painted, but it'll be a design similar to what I did on the 3rd Street side against the street.
Yeah, I'll leave it up to design
Yep.
review. I don't have any problems. I think this is a great project.
Okay, thank you. I just have just a couple of comments. One, I want to thank the law department for getting that legal opinion to us. As I indicated before, I know we had Eric from planning staff gave us his determination, but as we've been told over the years, we need the legal opinion from the law department regardless, whether it's myself as a lawyer or lawyers who sat on the board, our opinions don't count. So we have to get them from the law department, so. And Eric has told us that in the past, whenever we have a question, ask the law department. So I think that must satisfy you as well, so obviously it
yeah, it's
satisfies
great.
me.
Yep.
I mean, it's, so I was happy to see that. That says basically that, the property was transferred, and then the person who ended up getting it, somebody gave them an easement after they didn't have the right to the property. So
Right.
therefore, the easement was null and void. So I mean, I do like the project. I did like it when you came in last time, and I know that I've liked what I've seen, what you've done up on 3rd Street and on Bridge Street, when you showed us those pictures last time, and we have a copy of them. So I have faith that it's gonna look nice when you come through with this matter. Planning staff showed us how you do meet the parking requirement, as long as we give you the special permit for that parking. But the only thing I noticed was they said you might have to go to historic for the planter you're putting in?
Yeah, the planting area, and I wasn't 100% clear, but they want some hardscape, and I don't know exactly what they were talking about, walls. Now, they were comparing it to across the street where the brick building is, with a fellow that was here last week, but that's more of a modern building. That's not even anywhere near close. Our building is gonna be reminiscent of what maybe would be in that area next to the mills,
I just want, so hopefully you got a copy of that, and that's.
But
I
I'll
just wanna
work-
make sure you know that, so.
Yeah, I'll work with them, I have
Yeah.
no problem,
So,
yeah.
I have no problem on that. I think the project's gonna be nice. I mean, like I say, the main question I think we spent some time with the last time was the parking requirements, and staff broke it up pretty well here on the comments from us, from Christine McCall. I know she made a mistake on the typo. She dated November, and I talked to her later, and she says, oh, nice catch, that should be January. She was changing that on the webpage. So she broke down what the parking requirements are and indicated you need a total of 7, and you have the 7 plus the extra one for the handicap. So I'm
Yeah.
happy to see you have that. Obviously, we always want to see the handicap spots, which is required. So I'm satisfied with the review. It's indicated, I think, the engineer is just looking for a little additional time to go over the drainage, and you've indicated that you've been willing to work with her on that matter, so I don't have a problem with that. Then obviously with the design with staff, so I have no problem with the project at all. So hopefully we can give you an approval.
Yeah.
So, any board members have any questions or comments further? If not, I'll make a motion that to approve the site plan with the conditions subject to the review of the city engineer for the drainage matter, and for and to work with DPD staff on the design of the building.
I'll second that.
Should we make that, that second condition, design of the building and landscaping?
Sure, we can put the, okay, I'll make it for the design and landscaping, so, as amended. You second that as amended, Bob? Okay.
Sure.
Motion made and second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So that any against? No, so that motion carries, 4 in favor, none against. For the next one, we need a motion for the special permit. I'll make the same motion with the same conditions. Motion in favor, subject to the review of the city engineer for the drainage and for the landscape and design to work with staff.
I'll second that.
Motion made and second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, that motion carries 4-0 as well. See, special permits are tough when you need 4 votes, and with 1 abstention, you need them,
Yep.
all of us to vote. So you got both. Good luck. We wish you well.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I'm sure it'll look nice. Good luck.
Second.
Okay, moving along, the next matter we have is 14 London Street. This was a special permit administrative review. TK Development LLC seeks final administrative approval from the Lowell Planning Board for final plans and elevations of the project. The planning board approved the special permit under section 5.110 to construct a single-family dwelling, and we requested that after they go to the zoning board of appeals, that they come back to us for an administrative review. May we hear from the applicant, please?
Good evening, everybody. My name is Gregory Koukouris. I'm half owner of TK Development, and this is my partner, John Sumas, the other half of TK Development. We're here tonight for the final administrative approval of the house that we'd like to build on behind 14 London Street on Blossom Street frontage. So,
So I guess one of the questions we had before was what the final elevations of the lot would be.
the
So,
final elevations,
yeah,
they were included in the drawings.
okay.
We,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, we
That's okay,
had a meeting with the Board of Appeals after we had the initial meeting here. And at the Board of Appeals meeting, they requested that we have a bay window installed or shown on the drawings. I subsequently did show that and included that in the drawings and in the general notes of the package. We did meet with the abutters, and we agreed upon placing the parking spots to the left of the building.
Yeah, 'cause that was one of the questions,
Yes.
where they wanted the pocket, and I know
Yeah.
you indicated you'd be willing to work with them to, whatever they wanted to do, one on the right, one on the left, someone talked about it in the middle, and
So
I think butters were here for both sides, right?
the abutters actually came to the Board of Appeals meeting also.
Also, okay, good.
And they spoke in favor of the project at that time, too.
I'm sure you're happy to hear that.
I was very happy, yes.
Well, that's good. It's good to have good neighbors who work with them and try to get a good project.
Absolutely.
You know, it makes it a lot easier to come through the review and,
I believe in we got to work together, so.
yeah. Go ahead, Joe. You have a question?
Yeah, have you talked with staff about this porch issue? You're familiar with what I'm referring to in the...
Deck, right?
In the memo, it refers to the deck, it's encroaching on the setback?
No, what said is, he was talking about building a deck, so he hasn't built the deck as of yet. What the comment was, were you thinking about putting a deck in?
Well, the deck is basically a landing or stairway from the sliding door to the ground elevation. There's a
Okay.
difference of elevation of approximately 20 inches, 21 inches. So we have to build something
Yeah.
to get down.
Okay, yeah,
So I put the word deck, but it can
Okay.
be interchanged with landing or stairway.
yeah. Because what staff just brought out is what Mr. Boyle was alluding to, is just said, you know, to talk about maybe having a deck. However, the deck has not been shown on the plan because of the building location. Any deck placed off the side will create an additional nonconformity. So they said you had a few options you could do. You could either revise the design and move the deck. You could revise the design in order to move the deck from the side to the rear, or seek additional relief from the zoning board of appeals. But if it's just a step down, it's like, that's not considered a deck, then I don't think you need that.
That's all it is a step.
Okay, I mean, if you did a step down and, say if you did a patio or so, you know, like a cement blocks or something that, or whatever, I don't think
In
that would
essence,
trigger
it's
board of review repeal.
20
review.
inches we have to, get
Yeah.
down from, so,
Yeah, because you don't want that to drop off.
no.
How,
God forbid, no.
how close to the sideline are you coming with that landing?
I'm I'm sorry?
How close to the sideline are you coming with that landing?
The side of the house on that side,
Is that your, if looking for the front door, is it the right or left? Which way you're talking? If
if
you
I'm
look,
facing the building, it's gonna be on my left-hand side.
okay, okay. Over there where the snow blower is, right?
Is it, I
The other
think,
pictures that
10,
you had, Jeff?
10 and a half feet?
Okay,
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Maybe more than that.
okay. What I'm seeing
15 and a half
is
feet, I'm sorry.
5.17 projections, projecting eaves, chimneys, bay windows, balconies, open fire escapes, and like projections, which do not project more than 3.5 feet, and which are part of, blah, 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 may extend beyond the minimum side year regulations, provided that they're not any closer than 10 feet.
Nowhere near that.
So, yeah.
So you could be
We-
conforming there, right? Yep.
Yeah, so I just, you might want to run, the basic dimensions past past development services to make sure that you're okay under the zoning on where the stairs come down and how far that projection can stick out and everything. Make sure you fall under this, make sure you don't have to limit the depth of that landing area in order to fall under this. This is something, depending on how you build it, it could potentially be a problem for you. You're gonna wanna find that out earlier rather than later. Talk to them, talk to them early and it'll
No,
work out
from what
best.
you just read, we have 15 and a half feet from the house to the line on that side. So I'm allowed, I can't go encroach 10 feet, so I have 5.5 feet. A landing with stairs, it won't be more than 4 feet.
Won't be more than how much?
4 feet.
4 feet, right.
So if he just does a landing on that, Judy, he'd be all set, because it's not going to be considered a deck or an attachment or apparatus that's attached to the house, correct?
Right, that would not be considered a deck. It's just stairs.
I think that was a comment from staff, just to give you a wheel, which is kind of nice to know ahead of time.
No,
I mean,
absolutely,
you always take, when someone says, think of this before you go forward, and it's better to think of it beforehand than later.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
that was just a comment,
And it seems like if you wanted to go with a little more than just the minimal landing area, you seem to have a little bit of flexibility under here if you wanted to make that a little larger and more usable too. Just whatever you decide to do.
because as indicated, if you went to the left a little bit, then you could always go back. You could go out a few feet and then wrap something around the back of it.
You're right.
You know what make like,
Yes.
almost like an L shape? Do that 4 or 5 feet here, and then turn on the back, because you have plenty of room in the back, right?
Right.
I mean, if I remember correctly, your rear yard goes all the way back to that other house, which I believe we were told at one time went all the way through, right? The same ownership at one point, a long time ago, when we heard the first meeting? Yeah, okay. Anything else, Mr. Boyle?
No, that was all.
Mr. Fischett, any questions, comments?
Mr. Chairman, I don't have any at this time. I think this is what we were looking to see when they came back, and they went through the zoning board of appeals process, and we encouraged the neighbors to appear there so they could work out basically the placement of the driveway, I think, was the biggest issue, so, and we wanted to see the final design. I think this replicates the general feel of the homes that are on that street, so I'm certainly in favor
Okay.
of the plan.
Mr. Malovich, any questions, comments?
No, it just that, the agenda says 14 London, which is the other lot.
Yes.
So this is Blossom Street is what we're approving.
Yes.
I have no concerns. I think this is what we really wanted to
Yep.
see.
Okay, thank you. Jack, any questions, comments?
Yeah, just a quick question. As I understand it, you've now eliminated the garage and the parking will be along the left side of the property?
Yes.
Okay, and I have no other issues here. That's fine, thank you.
Okay, what's the wish of the board for the matter?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the special permit that the applicant has presented to us this evening with no further conditions.
We have a motion on the floor for approval,
I'll second that.
and second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye, chair votes yes. Any opposition? Hearing none, the motion carries, four in favor, none against. Good luck. Wish you well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Moving along, do we have any further comments from any of the board members, from any of the
I
other?
just have one. I was sworn in today as I've been renewed for 5 years.
Yeah, I got a copy of that letter. I was gonna, as a result of that, I'd like to, congratulate you for your new appointment. It'd be, expiration date of September 1st, 2020. Boy.
I have 20/20 vision now.
And as a result of that, I'd like to thank the city manager for your appointment, and also thank the Lowell City Council for your confirmation. So congratulations and good luck with us. Any other updates from anybody, from other board members, or any other board things?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to comment, the new notification as we've been receiving from staff, I find very, very helpful that we've been getting the, weekly email updates of pending projects and upcoming projects. I think that's what we were all looking for, and it's very, very helpful. Thank you.
I think a little bit of that had a little bit to do with the turnover too, right? When you were losing somebody, getting somebody in and trying to
That-
satisfy us and the Board of Appeals
Yes,
at the
that's
same
true, and when
time.
I wasn't there, and then Swati left, and a new person coming in, and
I
yes.
understand, yeah, so, but yeah, it has been helpful, I mean, because I always like the idea is, if you know something's coming up when you're driving around the city, if you know a week or two ahead of time, you can stop in that neighborhood instead of waiting until, sometimes you forget the agenda on Wednesday, and depending on what your weekend plans are with family and everything else, you don't always make it back out now. You know enough, like, oh, this is coming up, let's stop and take a look, so that's why I find it helpful, so. Anybody else have any updates? If not, we can entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made, second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All in favor? We are, motion approved, we are adjourned. Thank you. Less than a half hour, that was
So
good.
we're just having one item at the next meeting?
Yeah. That was interesting watching Bonnie last week, 2 weeks ago. The one on Oh, the single-family home, is that the one right up by Shed Park? Is that the one that they're looking for the, Yeah, that's, what's the name of the street? Yeah, behind Boylston, I'm trying to think the name of the street, yeah. Yeah.
Is that Calvin Street?
Calvin? Calvin, that's it, yeah,
Street,
that's
yep.
right, okay. All right.
No, see, I had taken over for Steve Gendron.
Oh, so you were only filling out the rest of his term?
Yeah,
Oh, you didn't start out with a new 5-year term?
no. So he basically reappointed me for a new term. It's been fun.